This is my audience. Okay. And this is my outline. Okay. 23 surgeries, 27 broken bones, 3 aneurysms, and countless visits to the doctor. This has all occurred in the 20 years of Noah's life. This is due to a rare genetic condition called Loeys-Dietz syndrome, or LDS for short. Cleveland Clinic 2022 explains this condition gets its name from 2 doctors, Dr. Bart Loeys and Dr. Hal Dietz. They first identified the distinct syndrome and the gene mutations that caused it in 2005. LDS is a life-threatening connective tissue disorder that affects all bodily systems, but primarily the bones, joints, and blood vessels. In their article, Loeys-Dietz syndrome, Dr. Loeys and Dr. Dietz explain that LDS is characterized by aneurysms and dissections in the arteries, abnormalities in the skeleton, face, and skull, and skin and allergy issues, with a wide range of severity. In preparation for this speech, I've spent the past several weeks doing extensive research on LDS, and Noah, as mentioned previously, is one of my best friends. Today, I would like to encourage all of you to donate to Loeys-Dietz Syndrome Foundation, a non-for-profit organization that's dedicated to supporting those affected by LDS. First, the Loeys-Dietz Syndrome Foundation seeks to fight several problems and harms that are associated with LDS. The first harm is that there is a major lack of awareness and medical knowledge surrounding LDS. Many healthcare providers and the general public are unfamiliar with LDS due to its rarity. However, inadequate awareness can lead to overlooked symptoms, inappropriate treatment plans, and missed opportunities for early intervention. This leads to my second major harm, which is delayed or missed diagnosis. LDS often has similar characteristics and symptoms as other diseases, such as Marfan syndrome, leading to misdiagnosis or late diagnosis. Johns Hopkins Medicine 2020 explains that in the past, many individuals with LDS were mistakenly diagnosed with Marfan syndrome. It is important to distinguish between Marfan syndrome and LDS because there are a few management differences. Misdiagnosis can lead to increased risk of serious complications, like aneurysms, aortic dissections, and even organ rupture, all which can be fatal without timely intervention. Another major harm is the emotional burden that those with LDS and their families carry. The National Institute of Health 2015 clarifies a disease is classified as rare when it affects less than 200,000 people in the United States. However, there are only 5,000 to 6,000 known individuals with LDS worldwide. People with LDS and their families often feel isolated due to the rarity of the disease. Isolation can lead to mental health challenges, anxiety, and a lack of community support. The last major harm is that there is insufficient research funding for LDS. LDS receives limited research attention and funding. For example, areas that are commonly being researched, such as cancer, HIV/AIDS, and Alzheimer's, each receive funding in the billions, whereas rare diseases rely on donations, so LDS receives only a little over $1 million for research. This drastically slows progress in understanding the disease and developing improved diagnostics, treatment, or even a cure. The Loeys-Dietz Syndrome Foundation's work directly addresses these key issues through education, advocacy, support, and research. The Loeys-Dietz Syndrome Foundation website explains that they are dedicated to providing support for those affected by LDS by encouraging education, fostering research, and raising awareness about LDS. The foundation takes part in awareness and education campaigns. For example, they have created the LDS Awareness Month in March, which spreads the message of what LDS really is and shares stories of those affected by LDS. Another way that they spread awareness is through partnering with the Marfan Foundation. One example of this is their partnering with the Marfan Foundation in their Walk for Victory, a donation event where people with LDS and similar diseases come together to raise funds and symbolically walk together in unity. The foundation also takes part in educational webinars, offers medical literature, and shares emergency care guidelines in order to increase accurate treatment and reduce misdiagnosis. The foundation also advocates for those with LDS. They help families share their stories, advocate for better health care, and raise funds. They make those with LDS more visible to the public and overall allows patients and families to have more control over their condition and care. The foundation also offers support. They offer virtual and in-person support groups to those with LDS for people of all ages all over the world. This reduces isolation and fosters a sense of belonging and shared experience. Lastly, the foundation promotes and funds clinical research. They help fund and promote clinical research and studies aimed at better understanding the genetic causes, progression, and treatment of LDS. This advances scientific knowledge and accelerates the development of new treatments. Donating to the Loeys-Dietz Syndrome Foundation will give you the satisfaction knowing your money will directly leave a significant impact on those living with LDS. You donating will leave you knowing you made a real, tangible social impact through funding life-saving research and educating healthcare providers. Also, your donation will help expand support networks for those with LDS. On this topic, Noah says, once my mom connected with the Loeys-Dietz Syndrome Foundation, I met so many people with LDS, so many people like me. Without the gift of companionship that the foundation provided to my younger self, I simply would not be here. Not only will your donation leave a significant impact on others, but on yourself as well, giving you a feeling of emotional fulfillment. When you donate, you will get the feeling of making a meaningful impact and a sense of purpose and generosity. Also, the Loeys-Dietz Syndrome Foundation recognizes your donation and seeks to keep you involved. They do this through sending newsletters and updates and encouraging you to stay involved through events like the Walk for Victory and seminars. I sincerely encourage each of you to open your hearts and donate to the Loeys-Dietz Syndrome Foundation, a nonprofit that brings hope, care, and vital resources to those living with LDS. You can start now by going to the Loeys-Dietz Syndrome Foundation website. You can choose to donate one time or make recurring donations. If you want to donate and continue to spread awareness, you can buy the foundation's merchandise. If you want to donate your time as well, you can choose to volunteer and take part in awareness events. When you donate to the Loeys-Dietz Syndrome Foundation, you're not just giving your time or your money. You're giving a child the chance to grow up stronger, a parent the hope of more birthdays with their child, and families the peace of knowing they're not facing this fight alone. Thank you.